What's up? It's Angie and welcome to the second episode of Matry Lang, a series where I attempt to learn new things and try out new experiences. I know it's been a while since the first one, but today I wanted to share with you all of the resources I use to learn French. En bref, aperçu de contexte, j'ai commencé à apprendre en juillet 2024 et maintenant nous sommes déjà en avril 2026, alors presque 12 ans d'études. J'ai principalement appris seule à cause d'un budget assez limité, alors il y a des ressources qui sont gratuites ou gratuites avec certaines conditions, payées mais pas trop cher et enfin quand je suis arrivée épargner un peu plus, ceux qui ont un prix un peu plus élevé mais toujours très utile si vous avez par exemple un objectif spécifique, par exemple passer en test sur un examen en français comme le TEF ou le TCF ou le DELF ou DALF. Et alors, si vous êtes dans la même situation, j'espère que cette vidéo sera utile pour vous. Et à ce moment-là, je vais passer en anglais pour expliquer chacune des ressources parce que j'ai déjà utilisé tout le français que je connais. Oui, alors sans plus attendre, on y va. So for building a good foundation for learning French, first thing I would recommend is Mango Languages. It's a great app that comes free with a membership at Vancouver Public Library, or if you're in the Metro Vancouver area, then you can link your existing library card from another city with VPL and then have access to their entire catalog. They have a web page where you can enter the city or zip code, I believe, and then they'll check if there's a library near you that offers it. They offer not just French, but multiple languages as well. And for each course, there are main categories that get broken down into more specific ones. So for example, they'll start with the very basic ones and then they'll move on to more social situations. For example, vocabulary or sentences that you can use at work or those that you may encounter in social gatherings, or for example asking for help or going into a store. So basically anything under the sun is probably covered by the courses, which is a very efficient way of learning since everything you might need is already in one place. Each lesson starts with a conversation between two people, and then those sentences that they used get broken down as you go along, so you can learn both vocabulary and grammatical concepts at the same time. There's also a section where you can review the sentences that you've already learned and you can check what concepts or sentences you still need to work on. So like I said, it's free with library access, but it costs around $12 or $20 or custom pricing depending on the features that you want the app to have, that you want your account to have. But all around, it's a great app for starting out. Next thing is the Paul Noble French audiobook. I also borrowed this one from the library, and since it's an audiobook, you can just listen whenever, like you're folding laundry, you're doing chores, you can just learn French. And it's very foundational, so it's all the basic vocabulary that you need to know. For example, how do you call a friend or a boyfriend or a girlfriend or a slice of bread? It also offers simple verb conjugations, for example, how to conjugate verbs ending in ER, IR, or RE in the passé composé. And it's nice to listen to when walking, of course, which is good because when doing physical activity, I feel like you tend to feel less nervous and the brain is more active too, and it can help you retain information better, and it was certainly very helpful. Very last thing for foundations is Extra French on YouTube, and it's completely free. It's a sitcom with 13 episodes, and it follows Sam, an American who comes to France to meet with his old pen pal Sasha. And Sam starts off not speaking French very well, and we kind of learn along with him with the help of his new friends, and we follow along as he figures things out in his new life in France. It's a very fun way to learn from the basics since it's marketed to middle and high school students, so you can follow along very easily. There's also extra English, extra German, and extra Spanish, but the Extra French series has a cliffhanger because only the English one is complete with 30 episodes, and so it's a bit sad that you can't follow along until the end of the story. But Again, it's great for foundational stuff. It's great for basics. If you want to just stop with the conventional learning, like taking notes or whatever, then you can just watch this show and still learn quite a lot of new vocabulary. Next, moving on to reading. First thing is Read and Think French, book plus audiobook. It's a paid resource and it cost me around $25 for the book, but the purchase comes with a QR code in the inside sleeve that you can scan to download their app. And the app has the audio recordings of not only for this book but also for other books by the same publisher, like for other French books that they have. It contains around 100 articles about French culture in different francophone countries. It's divided into different categories, like there's culture, there's travel, there's significant people, there's celebrations and things like that, and just it's a very wide array of topics and so much vocabulary that you can learn. On the sides of the pages, there are definitions of words throughout the passages that are in bold for quick definition. So the way that they recommend reading this book is first reading it all the way without checking the definitions, and then second time read while checking the definitions, and then third is read it back to yourself. And so that really helps retain it. For example, if you're training yourself for speaking, reading, writing, and listening, then this is a great resource. Next up for reading is Daily News in French, Aujourd'hui. It's a free newsletter by Max Lelaine that you can subscribe to, and it's usually in 3 parts. There's an overview for a significant historical figure, and then a song of the day, and then a passage on a societal topic, and another on a scientific subject or some other cool stuff. And like I said, it's completely free, so I think 4 days out of the week you get a new newsletter and you can just read it in the morning or something. It's a really quick read but very interesting, and their song recommendations are pretty cool as well, so you can discover new music while you're at it. Third and final thing in reading is Journal de Montréal. It's a free news app and they also have a website. It's good for Canadian news in French, and I personally like 2 things the most. It's the 5-minute infographics about interesting topics still on current events, and the crossword puzzles. You can keep up to date with everything that's happening in the world while learning a new skill. Plus, you can also use this as a reference for Section A of writing in the TEF, since you'll have to construct a story in a news format. Next up, we have listening, which always has a bunch of great resources. But the very first thing that I would recommend that you check out is the Inner French free podcast. So it's an awesome podcast hosted by Hugo Coton and more recently Anna and Ingrid, and it's accessible on both on podcasting apps but also on their own website, Inner French, and it has over 150 episodes now. I think they started in 2017. It introduces new expressions and slang over the course of the episodes and discusses everything under the sun, like culture, politics, social issues, art, life, health, and lots of other things. First, he speaks a bit slowly in the first episodes, and then his speed gradually picks up as you progress through the episodes. It's great for shadowing when you feel like you already have an intermediate level. For example, you're walking and then you have it playing in your ear, and then you're just following immediately as you hear the words, which helps you get a better flow for speaking, and also with the pronunciation and of course vocabulary and grammar, because then you're hearing in real time how the sentences are being constructed and then you're saying them as well. For example, for me, when I'm walking and I'm listening to a podcast, I still tend to zone out, but at least when I'm shadowing, then I'm forced to listen and understand the whole sense, like the sense of the entire thing that they're saying. And I would recommend doing that too. The podcast is great. I still listen to it regularly. I haven't listened to all the episodes because it's a lot, but I think I got up to episode 70 when I stopped, and then I skipped, and now I'm in the hundreds, 150s. Next up, we have Radio France Internationale. It's a free app and website, and it's useful if you're going to take an exam like Test Évaluation Français or TEF. And some questions in the listening part are like in the format of what's in RFE, long audios, and some interviews as well. And you can choose the time. If you have only 5 minutes or 20 minutes or unlimited time, you can select that, and then it will suggest episodes for you which fit this time limit. Of course, there's also TV5 Monde Edu. It's a website and app, and it offers videos on different topics and then quizzes after watching to test your understanding of those videos. And the best thing about it is it's completely free, so you can just download the app and then start listening and testing yourself, your comprehension orale. Next, for speaking, I primarily used italki, which is a paid website and app, and I spend around $25 per lesson when I can. I started once every 2 weeks and now once a week. There are community and professional tutors available. Based on my experience, I booked lessons with community tutors and they've been great. Like, I had a couple of really great teachers. They were friendly and offered great resources. The lessons that I took were mostly focused on TEF because different languages exams have different formats. Like, the speaking part in TEF is different from the one in TCF and the DELF and so on. If you're not aiming to take an exam, then there are also some teachers with whom you can just talk with. If it's just for fun, like a language partner, then they're also available, and that's also very possible to find in italki because they just offer such a wide range of opportunities for talking with someone, for finding a teacher specific to your needs. Next, for speaking, it's Hello Talk. It's a free app with a premium option. So it's a free platform where you can do language exchange. You can post updates, photos, or statuses in your target language. It's really like a social network for language learning. There's chat rooms, voice chat rooms that you can join. I always end up just listening to them and trying to understand what they're talking about. But you can also chat with different people. Like, they can reach out to you, you can reach out to them if you want to talk with a specific person, because you can also specify the languages that you speak. So if you find someone who's speaking your target language and who wants to learn your native language, then you can converse in those two languages and make new friends along the way. I know it's been a bit long and it's already been a lot of resources, but now we're in writing and I only have two. It's Français Sans Faute. It's a free app with a premium option. It's freemium again. And I found out about it recently through an ad. It's focused on correcting orthographic errors. So you can type something and then it's gonna use its AI function to assess your text and then give it back to you with corrections and suggestions. So they also offer word of the day, dictation exercises. My favorite one is the free writing, since they provide topics that you can write about. For example, what makes you happy, or prompts for continuing a story. And since it's free, there's limited topics and responses. Like, for example, for the free writing one, there's the first question and then you answer that question. And then there's a second question based on the text that you responded with, and then a third question based on that. And it stops there. But still, the free version is great. It helped me a lot during the last days of my preparation for the exam. I found out that I still had so much work to do with writing, and so that's probably the area where I'm least confident and least comfortable with. Also, you can save corrections to review them later, which again, repetition is the way to go. Next, for writing is to look online for writing prompts and then check with Language Tool, another website, to check errors and get suggestions on rephrasing. You can correct yourself in real time and figure out the mistakes that you have to work on, or the spelling mistakes or the grammatical errors, and how to construct sentences in a less complicated manner. Because I find that was also a problem for me, because in my head I was translating word for word English phrases into French without considering that there might be a simpler way to go about it. So yeah, online writing prompts and then check it with Language Tool. Second to the last thing, entertainment. Learning a language is not easy. It's tiring, and there are days when it's fun, of course, but there are days when you just don't want to anymore and you just want to give up. Of course, it takes a toll on you. And so you need something to break that pattern, to break that chain. And there are so many resources that are being offered online for entertainment in French, like media, entertainment media in French. And this is something that I just recently found out about as well. There is this site and app. It's TV5 Uni, free with ads. And there are so many great Canadian shows that covers a large collection of topics like real estate, food, there are even dramas. And currently I'm watching Maman en Chef and Quartier Recherché and Agathe Coltès. So these shows are just really well made and very entertaining. You can just relax your mind while still learning French, because sometimes you just really need to take a break. But my favorite among the things that I mentioned are Quartier Recherché. It follows like Evelyn and Corey, who are helping people who have been searching for a new house for a long time but haven't had any luck. And then they suggest different neighborhoods, and they consider all of the hobbies and all of the likes and dislikes and preferences of the person buying the house to come up with the best area for them to live in. And it's just nice because they move from one province to another in Canada. Like, for example, they've done multiple episodes in Vancouver already, and then they go to Montreal, Ottawa, or Ontario, or other provinces, and it's just really entertaining to watch. And it's always nice to see, you know, houses even though you can't afford them. Yay! Next thing is art on YouTube. They have documentaries, and there's also an app which is free again, and they offer really well made documentaries and shows with a broad range of subjects. There's nature, politics, social issues about different countries, different places. You can download videos for offline viewing, and it also has a shorts function, so at least even if we're doom scrolling, it's informative and educational. And currently I'm watching Au fond du trou. It's kind of a dry humor kind of show about people whose lives intersect in a mini golf course park. So it only has 6 episodes, and I'm almost done. I'm almost at the last episode. So yeah, that's art. It offers so many shows. It's crazy. And last thing for entertainment, it's YouTube. You can find so many free things there. For example, Lou. It's an animated series, and it's completely free on YouTube. It's a wholesome cartoon about a mom and a daughter and their adventures with their neighbors and their best friends. So some key points are she has a crush on her neighbor, and her mom is writing a sci-fi novel. And she and her mom always eat at their favorite pizza place across the street. And it's generally very wholesome, and she writes about everything that happens in her journal at the end of the day. Very last thing, we've arrived at the end of the resources list. I took the Prep My Future course from Alliance Française, and it's $70 plus tax, but they offer so many sample tests for all parts. It's 3 full sample tests that are timed, and there's so many mini quizzes per topic, and it's worth it for me to even just to get you into the testing spirit and train yourself with the time, because it really does go quickly. So listening, reading, and missing text can be graded, but not speaking and writing. They offer sample topics though for each section, but speaking, you have to record yourself, and writing, you can submit your answer and then use language tool like I did to check any errors and reformulations that are being suggested. There's also, of course, free listening and reading tests on YouTube, but it's never a bad thing to encounter as many questions as you can. The point is to really train yourself with time, and you can also train yourself to think more clearly and faster in the target language. Alors voilà, merci beaucoup d'avoir pris le temps de regarder cette vidéo. Elle est devenue assez longue, mais j'espère que vous êtes arrivé à découvrir quelque chose qui peut vous aider avec votre apprentissage. Et je vous souhaite une bonne chance avec vos études. Restez forts. Il sera vaut le temps, l'effort, la jante. Pour moi, je fais toujours plein d'erreurs, beaucoup d'erreurs, et il reste beaucoup de travail à faire. Cependant, ne soyez pas découragés. vous pouvez tout faire et vous allez réussir. Alors, merci encore et bonne journée et à la prochaine. Merci.